This one, we've got liftoff. Chi-Town, we should be live now. Big ups, Self Luv Show. The New World
Copyright
Order.
disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, y'all. New World Order. Like, share, subscribe. Yes, sir. In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying all the way through the show to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
Brother, I'm wiping it though. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother. Between us, Tori made me at Beta, and so he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. Grateful. You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Luv Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man,
it's apropos that you are the first recipient.
And Noop, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we have it on order. So it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
And even in this instance, if I could be a service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
You couldn't handle the truth. You listen to me? Are you on my frequency? Are you on my frequency? Yes, sir. Shout town. Cue the music. Absolutely. Yeah, Buckaroo. Silverbacks are black and in the building. Self Love. Vision. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Trying to make a way in the game of life, trying to make a play, and just a kid from Chicago. That's more like it. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the Self Chi-Town's very own, the Self Luv Show. We got two mottos around here. Motto number one is on earth as it is in heaven. Bing. All praise due to the ancestors. Big ups to my beloved Mama Sky. Model number two is as above, so below. Right now, we can be found Malcolm exclusively right here on the YouTube channel. This ain't that network. And as we say in today's acronym age, TATN. TATN is one of the co-hosts, 9 Millie, also known as one of the selves. What down, Shot Town, what down. Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. We live and live in color. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, August 17, 2022, approximately 8:10 p.m. in the Chi. And as always, you cats can be any place in this magnanimous universe. And thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here together. What down, brother Wordsmith? What down? What it do?
Manifesting love. You know me?
Yes, sir. About the same here, bro. Manifesting that true love. Some say, harsh, tough, what have you. But it's love just the same, brother.
No doubt.
So what's the business, man? What's been going on at the Heezy since our last joint?
They started the R. Kelly trial, I think, yesterday. Or
R. Kelly, wasn't he already convicted in Georgia? Ain't he already in jail?
Well, he's got a federal case here now. So that was the state or whatever state that was, but this is a federal trial.
Well, they don't have no federal courthouses in the state of Georgia?
Well, the federal case was brought here. Remember, he was in jail here until they moved him.
It just don't seem to make good logistic sense. They got federal courts all over the country. You know,
well, they don't have the judges the people indicted him. He was already in court. He just, for it to be going to trial now, it had to already been in court here.
Oh, okay. So he must have already been pending or something like that. I thought he was in the county when he was locked up and shot.
Oh no, he was in the Fed.
Okay. So it's a lot of hubbub around that going on, or don't nobody really seem to care in the city?
I don't know if any people really care. I just heard about it and was like, oh, okay.
Man, and condolences, man, to those cats around your crib outside the Jeffrey Pub, bro.
Ooh.
Man, I sent you some videos, bro. That was just,
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't look at that, but dang.
I tell you what, whenever you try to have videos when the pink man is going out like that, they immediately get that taken down. It's just something about the images of us self-destructing or being, murdered. It's like some sort of African-American murder porn, if you will.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
Yeah, somebody's getting off on it. Yeah, but condolences to the family. When I first saw it, I said that was a quote, end quote, hit, pun not intended.
Right.
And then as they're investigating it, they're definitely saying that that was on purpose. They found the car too, man. Did they find a driver, or they got anybody in custody as far as you know?
After I saw that, I didn't even look into it any further. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know, I couldn't.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. All right, y'all. So welcome. We got a big topic we're doing today, the New World Order. So we're gonna get our keep our knee on the neck of these tyrannical bastards that's running around this nation, or this world, I should say. But what to expect on today's show? We always have the quote of the day, and then our More Growth and Development program. That's our platform, what we stand upon. And then we run a short video called Tattoo Tyranny. We'll show you, normally it's 12, or the PDs. And then ourselves in the chat, we get to dissect it, unpack it, and vote on whether we think it was tyranny or, not tyranny. And then we have our new segment, What If They Were Pink or Black? And then, of course, our weekly dome teaser, which is a riddle. And as aforementioned, our topic today is the New World Order, Unpacked. This is a thought experiment. Now, we have next week's sneak peek at the end of the show, and then at the very end, we cap it off with my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's this brother to my right, Brother Wordsmith's final words out there, and that's where he summarizes everything in a metaphysical bun, so to speak, and comes right off the rip with a freestyle piece of prose. So it's always a joy. Stick around for the entire show. But first, announcements. Self Love, you got any announcements, Snoop?
My little people started school. Just want to say big ups to Gabby and Yuri.
Yeah, big ups to them both, man. I forgot it is that time, that Bud Billiken parade. That's always lets you know. Hey, any one of your kids lefties by chance? Left-handed?
Nope.
Ambidextrous?
I don't. No, they both
righties. Yeah.
Yeah, they. But Uriel's playing ball, so got to see how that develops. His left.
Yeah, probably be a strong left, to say the least. Just wondering. All right, and my announcements would be, y'all, stop the blickety blick, stop the violence. Also, for anybody out there in an earshot, if you got any potential guests in mind that you think would line up with the Self Love Show, reach out to us. Drop it in the comments. You can text or call 424-900-6945.
Troll free.
That number is 100% troll free. Standard rates and messaging may apply. Get your feelings hurt if you want to. Have me playing around in your brain, playing around with your emotions if you want. That works for me. So yeah, just let us know. And that from that vein, if you have any topics that you'd like to have us unpack, by all means, we're all ears. We're open to suggestions. Make sure you guys are subscribing. We got some subscription tiers that we shall achieve, and there's going to be big things happening as this movement pushes forward. So like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Post it on your Twitter, your Twitch, your Twitch, your Facebook, whatever you got going on, your IG. You know, you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. So, all right. And then enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn it over to this brother to my right so he can handle it.
Welcome. As Naim said, we're breaking down New World Order Unpacked, Thought Experiment. And always, we have a very important video for you to watch, the More Growth and Development platform, which we're building the Self-Love Nation. But before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Now, we can see New World coming into view, the world in which there is the genuine prospect of New World Order. Once again, now we can see a new world coming into view, a world in which there is the genuine prospect of New World Order. George W. Bush. And as promised, Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. All right, self-love and
number 10.
Numero 10.
Protect our women and children by any and all means necessary.
I know that's right. And if you guys didn't check in last week, check in with us. We had Maze Jackson, formerly of WVON. He hosted there for years. He's got his own show, the Maze Jackson Show. We went over some social justice issues, and what say ye, self-love?
Man, it's packed full of information. You should just go on back and check it out because, lots of information.
Right. And I don't know if you guys in those legal states are smoking marijuana, but it's like you get a nice fluffy pillow, you know what I mean? They threw in a little something extra. That's what you're going to get out of that show. So definitely check it out. The title is Social Justice with Maze Jackson, and you can view that right here on TATN and subscribe to his channel, which is the Maze Jackson Show. That's Maze Jackson. And you guys like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Today's topic is, as Self Love just mentioned, the New World Order Unpacked. We'd love to hear your commentary. The phone lines are open, 424-900-6945. It's pinned in the chat. That number's 100% troll free. Feel free to call in with your questions or concerns. You can text that line. It is a secure line, if I do say so himself. And we'll present your questions or commentary here on today's show. That's what we do. This is completely interactive. Now, self-love, I know, well, did you see that video Inside Edition ran, Trump tight?
I don't know. No, I'm unplugged most of the time.
Big ups to Donald Trump.
We are learning new information about what may be in some of those boxes
See
of
him with the Black
material
Power fist
FBI
up?
agents took away from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. It's now
wanna be
being
black so
reported
bad.
among the items were classified documents related to nuclear weapons. Stephen Fabian spoke
Really?
with one of Trump's lawyers who was with the former president as the raid played out.
The FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago was watched in real time inside Trump Tower. Donald Trump attorney Alina Habba told me about the dramatic moment the former president learned of the unprecedented raid.
The Trump team has security on all their properties and cameras, so we could see some of the live feed happening on the entrances, exits, things like that, and could see part of it.
Did Trump watch this raid happen on camera?
No, he did not. He was very calm. He was in his office, so it was just a very strange moment, and he was just more like it's a Monday in Trump world.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nancy Cordes in the nation's capital.
Networks broke into programming as the search warrant was released.
I am holding a search warrant for the home of a former president of the United States.
Right. The inventory of items removed lists a number of classified secret and top secret documents, including one stamped top secret sensitive compartmented information, the highest level of secret. Meanwhile, the battle between Trump and the Justice Department went nuclear today.
You see that
The Washington
toupee?
Post reports that classified documents relating to nuclear weapons were among the items FBI agents sought during the search of Mar-a-Lago. Were there documents pertaining to nuclear weapons at Mar-a-Lago?
I think that's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard, truth be told. If there were documents relating to nuclear weapons, don't you think when they came in June, they wouldn't have left them there for 2 months?
Trump called the Washington Post report a hoax, just like Russia was a hoax. Planting evidence, anyone?
The FBI would never plant evidence at a scene. The FBI shows up to collect evidence and to use that to decide whether or not a crime has been committed and let the chips fall where they may.
Goodness, I almost
Meanwhile,
died.
the furor over the raid has triggered
Hearing
a
that
wave
lie.
of threats against public officials. Ricky Schiffer, who was present at the assault on the Capitol, posted, "I am proposing war. Be ready to kill the enemy," before attacking the FBI office in Cincinnati.
He's wrecked his car and he's shooting at officers.
He was shot dead after a police chase in a 5-hour standoff. Do you see any connection at all between Donald Trump tweeting that the FBI planted evidence and what we saw yesterday in Ohio?
No. No.
Today, Donald Trump released a statement saying before he took any top secret documents from the White House, he had them declassified.
All right, so,
Wow.
yeah. Now, I'm going to say this with the full understanding of who I believe that man is and, what's in his heart or what may not be in his heart. But I will say this. We're taking this from the FBI's point of view. We could do a little bit of both, but basically what I'm asking yourself, the FBI raiding the home of a former standing president who's up for re-election, how does that make you feel?
Disingenuous. Makes me feel like they're just, pulling a stunt to prevent him from running.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. On the one hand, I mean, it's man, they keep you on the fence in this situation. It's just so. I've always said his Russian wife is a honeypot. He was given all that property over there in Russia and had all that money in the Russian banks. He was high-fluting Putin, and he still is. So my spidey senses was already telling me that he had sold out to Russia, a while back.
Yeah, if he did, why would he have to take the documents?
What do you mean?
He would not need to take the documents.
How would he get them to Russia?
Picture or something. Like they're looking for documents that he took that are registered, or he said he classified them. And I'm not, in his favor either, but I don't trust FBI and I don't trust him. So, I'm just going by law. Doesn't seem like it seems like some political mess and not lawful.
Well, if they did in fact find secret documents that weren't declassified, and if no other president was taking those out of the White House, I mean, that is potentially a problem.
Yes, it is.
On the one hand, he's the first president to get raided, but if he's the first president to pull those shenanigans, it could be deservedly so.
Is he the first one?
Well, I don't know.
I guess.
We wouldn't know.
Nixon.
Well, he shredded, and he shredded the documents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They said Trump shredded some documents too.
Everyone that leaves there shreds some documents.
That's what I would think. But I'm definitely not here to bump for Trump.
No. Nixon wasn't on his way out either. He was shredding evidence. He wasn't shredding documents. He was shredding evidence.
Yeah, he caught a whole case, but Trump is catching a case too.
Maybe he should have shredded him.
Well, and we don't want to belabor it, but then you've got the pink stink. They're always pro law enforcement. They're conservative, and you know what I mean? I mean, when the FBI, right, when they were shooting, well, they didn't shoot Fred Hampton, but when they were investigating the Black Panthers, and they did have something to do. They had an FBI informant involved in that. But I'm saying, when all of that was going on, when it's up against us black folks, I didn't hear any, complaints out of the alt-right.
Well, they don't care about us, really.
I mean, you hear this guy talking about kill the enemy. Now, could you imagine if when we talk like that, what tends to happen, you catch a whole case, which he probably is, and then you even had a guy with a body armor storm the FBI.
Yeah, got himself murdered.
With an AR-15. This was a tough one. I'm going to ask the chat. The FBI, is that tyranny? What the FBI is doing. It feels funny, though. It's right around this election coming up.
That's why I think it's tyranny. That's why, it's like a play to not have a man run. You know what I mean? Prevent him from running. But if it's true, so much has been said about the dude, and he's, been clean on most of it. Cleared of it. I won't say clean on it. Cleared of it. I don't know, so.
If I had to vote, if I had to put my next 3 checks on it, but this topic, the New World Order, I'm going to vote no on tyranny. I'm going to say lock his ass up, investigate him. He's the Grand Wizard of the KKK as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to vote tyranny. I mean, not tyranny.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust either side of it, but I don't know. It seems like a political move more than lawful. So I hope that I'm wrong, but I'm going to say tyranny.
I hear you. Every politician that gets investigated for crimes always scream that they're doing it because of politics. It's got to be a hell of a shield to have.
I wasn't taking his.
That's why I said every politician.
Right. I was
from Blagojevich, every single politician, whenever they get charged with anything, they say it was politically motivated.
I'm moving from my spirit, though, not from what the words of every politician that's been, a lot of them done crime and say that. I'm moving from spirit, though, not from what every politician has said.
Right, so in your mind's eye, the FBI wants a Democrat in office.
I don't think they care about that as much as it's not Trump.
Correct. So if it's not Trump and it's not based on because he's a Republican, then I can't say it's politically motivated.
He's not. There's not been no Republican convention that he's been said that he's going to be the candidate and all of that. I think they're trying to prevent him from being a candidate.
All right, and we'll ask the chat. Is it tyranny or is it not tyranny? All right, so that's that. We'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, it was a tough call on my end. All right, we'll push forward. And today's show is the New World Order. It's unpacked. The New World Order. We're unpacking it. And let's jump into our segment, What If They Were Black? This one is What If He Was Black? Dogs on MEP. Fair use. Inside edition. Dogs on MEP.
Deputies in Florida say a man suspected of stabbing his live-in girlfriend tried to choke a canine officer. Indian River County Sheriff's Office released body cam footage from the arrest of Bobby Dean Martin. Authorities say a woman reported 38-year-old Martin for alleged domestic violence. The unidentified woman told police Martin attempted to strangle her and that she had been stabbed.
Stop! Get him!
Deputies say Martin refused multiple commands and attempted to flee, but was located by a canine named Mako. According to authorities, Martin tried to strangle the dog.
Stop fighting the dog! Get your hands off my dog! Stop fighting the dog! Get your hands off my dog! Stop fighting the dog! Stop fighting the dog! Stop fighting! Is he holding my dog? Yeah! Get off my dog!
Bobby Dean Martin was arrested and faces several charges, including felony battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and battery on a police dog.
Your fighting is only making it worse. Calm down. You're not going anywhere. The game's over, all right?
No, it's not.
It is. It is. You're done, okay? Stop fighting. It's only going to get worse if you keep fighting.
Martin is being held without bond in a county jail and has not entered a plea. This is Inside Edition Digital.
Now, I noticed they didn't have their knee on his neck and they weren't kicking him in his head and things of that nature while they were allegedly trying to get him to calm down and he was cuffed.
Yeah, you know how that is. They are, yeah. Yeah, well, we already know if
yeah, if that was Pookie and he was choking the crap out of the dog.
Yeah, he would probably be dead. I hate to say that part, but the society cares more about dogs than melanated men.
Yeah, and a police dog to boot.
It's an officer.
Right.
He was trying to attack the officer.
Yeah.
I bet he feared for his life. He was protecting himself.
That's what I was gonna say. What do they expect me to do? The dog's trying to, bite my neck off. I got to protect myself. You got to kick the dog. You got to do whatever you can to keep the dog from getting to your vitals.
Gotta do whatever you gotta do against the dog.
Right. So now you heard about that guy, and so he was a wanted person, somebody they've been looking for, and all this and that. What if he was a black man? Do you think? Well, you just said it. The situation would have been different, and I'm going to agree with you. If that pink man was a black man, he'd at minimum would have had a trip to the hospital prior to going to jail.
On one hand, he would have did what they wanted him to do, which is to harm a black woman, or a melanated woman, and that. But on the other hand, once he messed with that dog, it was a wrap.
Yeah, it's got to be the MEP, because he's choking everybody. Dogs, cops, women, you know what I mean? It's got to be the MEP. Must be the MEP. That's turning me up. Must be the MEP. Yeah, it must be the MEP. All right, so you guys like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. This is the New World Order Unpacked. I want to jump into today's Dome teaser, also known as the riddle du jour. And this is for everyone, not just self-love. All right, here we go. 2 in a corner, 1 in a room, 0 in a house, but 1 in a shelter. What am I? 2 in a corner, 1 in a room, 0 in a house, but 1 in a shelter. What am I? Thumbs up out there?
Room, house, shelter. All right. Yep. Bingo. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, thumbs up, huh? All right. So for those got a thumbs up, he's typing in his key to the riddle. You guys out there in the chat, feel free to type in yarn as well. And if you get it out there and it's right, we'll acknowledge that, and they would have solved the riddle before the end of the show. The Dome teaser. All right, brother, enough of the appetizers.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
Facts. The New World Order. The New World Order. We got a promo video production. If you can go ahead and roll that, and then we'll hop right to it. The New World Order. Tried to have that in the video, boy. They wasn't having that. Curtis Mayfield. And you guys, our call to action would be, as always, know your rights, learn your rights, assert your rights.
Gotta do that.
Man.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop.
At a time when the issue of race is front and center, the country is finding ways to confront its ugly past. Now, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, have vowed to raise $100 million in an attempt to atone for its role in slavery here in the U.S.
On subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day.
Man, stand up for yourself. Be a role model for your young ones by standing up for yourself. Stand up for your family. When we did our riddle, we're working on next week's. Next week we won't have a guest, but we'll get a promo video and let you guys know what we got in store for next week.
It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined.
But we do have some guests we're working on as well to reel them in, huh, Self Love?
Have a guest next week because your attitude has been outstanding.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Got mine.
You can cut it. That was wild. Jackie O, man, like trying to grab his brains, but whatever she was trying to do, Kennedy.
Trying to put it back in there.
Man, that was wow. Wow. Yeah, that was off the chain. So rest up to our JFK and RFK. So the purpose of tonight's show, what's that noise?
You know, I got some issues with the thing in the background.
Yeah, might just want to hit mute before you start doing other stuff. Not on your mic, but on the video. All right, we got today's show. The purpose of it, we're gonna give you the 5 W's: the who, what, when, where, and why of this NWO. We're not talking about wrestling, but this NWO quote conspiracy end quote theorem. We're going to put forth some symbols that you may have seen. Our goal is to encourage you to research further down this rabbit hole, assuming you have not, and to open a few minds. Normally, what we're about on the Self Love Show. So, what is the New World Order? What is the New World Order, Self? Check your mute.
The New World Order is something that has been set in place for quite some time. It's on our money, or what they call money. It's not legal tender. They're notes. New World Order. It's a whole platform which they want to exist as one government, one religion, one head and control of the entire world.
All right. Yeah, the Baphomet. So the New World Order is a conspiracy theory, quote unquote, which hypothesizes a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. That's the New World Order. When did the New World Order evolve? Self Love just said it's been around for quite some time. So, you know, I'd say it goes back to Babylon, but that's not what the research is showing.
To me, that is what my research is showing, because it goes way back. It's something that's been in play for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say to the ancients. but as of the recent history, which we'll get into it, it's like right around the time the U.S. government was formed, but a little bit before then, the late 1700s or the late 18th century, as they say. Where did it originate? I say Babylon, but they have and when I'm talking,
Illuminati is not necessarily the New World Order thing, but the Illuminati is that's in the late 1700s.
Yeah, the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an arm of the New World Order.
Right.
And
it's much younger than the New World Order plan in itself.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. During the, you're going to hear some names in here that are illuminated, quote unquote. During the 20th century, political figures such as Woodrow Wilson,
absolutely,
Winston Churchill, they used the term New World Order to refer to a new period of history characterized by a dramatic change in world political thought and in the global balance of power after WW1 and WW2. The interwar and post-World War II period were seen as opportunities to implement idealistic proposals for global governments by collective efforts to address worldwide problems that go beyond the capacity of individual nation states to resolve, while nevertheless respecting the right of nations to have self-determination. Such collective initiatives manifested in the formation of intergovernmental organizations such as the League of Nations in 1920, the United Nations in 1945, and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is NATO, in 1949, along with international regimes such as the Bretton Woods system and the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which is GATT, implemented to maintain a cooperative balance of power and facilitate reconciliation between nations to prevent the prospect of another global conflict. The cosmopolitan efforts to instill liberal internationalism were regularly criticized and opposed by American paleo-conservative business nationalists from the 1930s on. Woodrow Wilson and Winston Churchill. Those are some interesting historical figures. Now, what did Woodrow Wilson do? He sold out the money, didn't he?
Yeah. When, while he was in office, the Federal Reserve came into being.
Yeah, he gave the powers from the Congress, which is the people, to print money, to the Federal Reserve right after an assassination.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Winston Churchill.
He's from little guy, he was so talked about so much, I thought he was here and did some things, but he was in Britain somewhere. Well, I used to hear his name all the time like he was part of this government.
Same thing with Benjamin Franklin. Talk about a spook.
Well, they actually, were still involved with this government because they still are, on paper or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, it goes on. Progressives welcome international organizations and regimes such as the United Nations in the aftermath of 2 world wars. That's problem, reaction, solution. So progressives begin to welcome international organizations and their regimes, like the United Nations, after the 2 world wars, but argued that these initiatives suffered from a democratic deficit and were therefore inadequate not only to prevent another world war, but to foster global justice. Hold on. That's a little better. Okay, to foster global justice, as the UN was chartered to be a free association of sovereign nation states rather than a transition to democratic world government, Thus, cosmopolitan activists around the globe, perceiving the IGOs as too ineffectual for global change, formed a worldwide federalist movement. Any comments on that?
Trying to bring it all together, trying to make sure that they are enemies of the state or as such, or what may be, they are, it's like you said, problem, solution, implementation. And it's just a whole lot of that.
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Absolutely.
Constantly going on. Yeah. Constantly. Now, since the 19th century, many apocalyptic millennial Christian eschatologists, starting with John Nelson Darby, have predicted a globalist conspiracy to impose a tyrannical New World Order governing structure as the fulfillment of prophecies about the end times found in the Bible, specifically the book of Ezekiel, the book of Daniel, the Olivet Discourse found in the Synoptic Gospels, which was Ezra's chapter 11, verse 32, and Revelation chapter 13, verse 7. They claim that people who have made a deal with the Baphomet to gain wealth and power have become pawns in a supernatural chess game to move humanity into accepting a utopian world government that rests on the spiritual foundations of a syncretic, messianic world religion, which will later reveal itself to be a dystopian world empire that imposes the imperial cult of an unholy trinity of Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet. In many contemporary Christian conspiracy theories, the false prophet will be either the last pope of the Catholic Church, groomed and installed by an Alta Vendita or Jesuit conspiracy, or a guru from the New Age movement, or even the leader of an elite fundamentalist Christian organization like the Fellowship, while the Antichrist will be either the President of the European Union, the Caliph of the Pan-Islamic State, or even the Secretary General of the United Nations. Now we're talking.
Yeah. It's been a lot of predictions, a lot of stated that they are making sure it come true. Books that we read in the 90s, New World Order, was one of them. So, and it's pretty much been the playbook.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting here, because that's what we were saying at the top. But, okay, if there is a Satan, why does he need all these people? So his power is only through the people? Can't he just mesmerize everybody and put a spell on them? No, it's free will, according to text. Everybody's got free will. He can't impose on your free will.
I guess. Not directly with powers, I guess.
Right. Well, Self, to your knowledge, how is the NWO funded and operated? Where does it get its money?
Mainly from so-called 1%. It's written in. And also from the people. And, this government siphons off money for different projects that it wants to get happen, and it's buried in laws, so-called laws, because they're not really laws. They all deal in the color of law.
Buried in those 5,000 page bills?
Yeah. Buried in there and siphoned off to whatever.
Well, I agree. You said the elites and you said the people. And we'll go with the ignorant people, but it's, because, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
And it's us enlightened ones too. If we paying taxes, they're siphoning money off to it to do whatever.
It's very true. But there's enlightened ones that don't pay taxes.
Facts.
For whatever reason. Now, and then you got the Vatican. They pay into it. The world banks. I don't know if you were including them in the elites, but
yeah, the Vatican. Because the Vatican is.
Yeah, but I look at the elites as, you know, just your people with the bank, your corporate, you know, entities. And I'm looking at the Vatican as separate because it's kind of religious and it's taking money from the people. And the World Banks is separate too because they finance these businesses.
And I said you take the, you know, one world government, one world religion, and one world financial system.
Correct.
So that's why I was including them all together.
Right, but I got to break it down just for context, you know. Yeah. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, we can just say elites and be done with it. But
no.
Yeah. And then you got shadow governments too. Now that's like what your boy was doing, Oliver North. They're part of governments, but it's stuff that won't even go through Congress or go through the lawmakers. Stuff that the people won't even have knowledge of. It's presented as a need-to-know basis. So good job on the funding. So this is, you know, where they're saying their funding comes from. All right. You guys like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We are covering the New World Order. And, you know, it's a touchy topic for many people. Some think that it's all rooted in anti-Semitism. You know. You know what I mean? If you believe in a New World Order, you're an anti-Semite. We're going to have to define Semite, aren't we, Sal?
Yeah, no, they won't be happy with that. But
that's what your boy did when he got banned for a while.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
We might not be able to define Semite on YouTube.
Remember your boy did it. What's his name? He married Mariah Carey.
Oh, Nick Cannon.
Yeah, that's what he did. He was cavalier when he had Griff on the show.
Yes.
I was watching that like.
Yes. Yep. And they sure.
They gonna let him.
No.
Oh yeah.
They sure.
Yeah. They got their. They put their thumb up his bum.
They did. But
yeah, he was getting some right knowledge. But go ahead, bro. You know, he was putting it all out there.
He wasn't getting it. He was putting it out there. He knows that he didn't. You know, he thought he could just go on and.
Well, that's what I mean. He was learning right knowledge. He hadn't always known it. He had learned it and put a hat on his head and started putting out parroting all the information that he had been reading in books.
He don't parrot all that information with everybody. It was because Griff was there, and Griff was taking it kind of, you know, saying what he does, and this dude was letting it.
I had watched more than that show with Griff.
I did too.
And that guy was parroting esoteric information out, and I was shocked that he would come out there on a live platform and parrot that information. And it was all good until he started talking about the Semites.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was all good. But you were about to say something. I hope you remember because I cut you off.
I don't. But that's what I was really talking about. We was talking about the same thing, really.
Yeah.
I know it didn't sound like it, but we were talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because he was out there talking about the knowledge he had, all that. And
yeah.
Griff was there, and he was talking. They were talking about the Semites, and then that's when he.
And Griff was trying to tell him this is a public forum. Griff was trying to tell him.
Because he gets harassed and everything for the stuff he does. So.
Right. I mean, you know what I mean. So it's, you know, big ups to him. I bet you I can't even watch that video. They probably took that down, didn't they? I'm gonna have to look that up.
It just went up a few days ago. Somebody else put it up.
Oh, did they? Griff with Nick Cannon?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out again. Yeah, I was watching. I think I sent you the link when I was watching. I was like, oh, my God, these guys. Yeah, but that was right after George Floyd, and everybody was a little more cavalier.
He was just real cavalier because he's been through what he's been through, and he thought he could do whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, had a little money. Some of his friends were Semites.
A lot of money, and his magic just wasn't as good as he thought.
Oh, man. Everybody knows what this means.
Yo, it's halftime. And we're here, Self Luv Show, unpacking the New World Order thought experiment. Y'all know how we do. Bring concepts and expand them and see what happens. Based in actual action. As always, we got some very entertaining videos for you to check out. And we'll be right back at you.
It's halftime. You know, it's halftime. What's the point of life? Lord, why do we do it? And what's the point of strife? Pimps and whores see right through it. They see fluid. All Johns ain't saints, and St. John knew it. Tricks of preachers, 12 disciples, and so-called druids. See, solid. Get married and have shorties after college. So what's the point? Vibrate love, go share knowledge. Silence is violence. Stupid is as stupid does. Join the Give Back Gang Alliance. Gang, gang.
What are you looking at, slave?
Silence is violence, and evil's greatest ally. Those who turn a blind eye act like they don't know why. Say the police will not use such behavior. If you white, you right and have favor. But if you black, your body's piled high. Sight unseen, right in front of your face on the video screen, know what I mean? Popo lie. Fear for their life from an unarmed man. I guess he felt melanin was his weapon. They killed. Nigga, get your hand out my pocket. Get no charges and go free. So we need to be on our P's and Q's. Don't play no fool. The rules ain't fair. Life ain't no crystal stair. So we best prepare. Our little people, if you see something, say something. 12. Show the world we do care. So beware. Silence is violence. Get your trip to the devil's lair.
Self-love, you done did it again, Luke. You a genius.
These are called 9 at 9s. I'm just gonna give you these, man, and you just go with the one. If you say pass, pass. You got to get through 9 of them in 9 seconds. So I'm gonna give you 2 things, and you got to just pick the one. It's like an ink block test that resonates with you. All right, here we go. Kurt Cobain, Tupac.
Fuck.
Blunts. No, I ain't gonna ask you that. Cadillac, Lincoln.
Caddy.
George Washington, Abraham Lincoln.
Washington.
Samsung Galaxy, iPhone.
iPhone.
Donald Trump, Colin Kaepernick.
Cap. Knew it.
A thug or a cop.
Yeah.
Something. Dave Chappelle, Will Ferrell.
Dave.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce.
B.
Jay-Z, Eminem.
J.
Last one. Derek Chauvin, O.J. Simpson.
OJ. Juice.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
I got mine.
Got mines too.
Taylor's.
Moving through this life together. I'll go. I'ma give it all and I won't slow. Yeah.
I'ma show the world what they don't know.
I'ma be the one. I'ma be the one when I'm done. Ain't lying, y'all. If I made it this far, I'll go higher. If I made it this far,
I can make it anywhere.
If I made it this far, if I made it this far, I'll go anywhere. High like I smoke.
Big ups to Trey Mac.
Mac.
Anywhere, y'all know that. You hear Self Luv Show. We back with New World Order Unpacked Thought Experiment. Went to a lot of what we think and definitions about it. Now we're gonna expand the conversation.
Girl, your man. Absolutely. It's a new world order. Yeah, they wouldn't let me snatch that Curtis Mayfield joint, boy.
Oh no.
I put it. I'm like, man, how did this clown post it? You know what I mean? But hey, maybe he got permission. I pulled it from every side I could, try to post it. They just wasn't letting me do it. All right, so yeah, you guys like, share, subscribe. We're gonna kick this off. Get the second half of this going. Anywhere.
Big ups to Trey Mac. We're gonna have to get him back on deck.
Yeah, we do. We gotta reach out to him. Definitely gotta reach out to T-Mac. All right. So we're gonna jump into the second half of the whole shebang, the New World Order Unpacked. Hope you enjoyed your halftime videos. I certainly did. So we did cover we were on how it was funded. And so now we're going to get into the origins, who are the creators, the groups and or individuals. You know, some people refer to it as the unseen hand. We mentioned the Illuminati, any other organizations that you could think of that have been said to be a part of this whole conspiracy.
They are Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
The Masons have been said.
Yeah.
Shriners.
Yeah. There's a group mentioned in the promo video.
Yep. Those groups have been, all of the fraternal orders, all of the fraternities and Greek system, all of that has been said to be a part of that.
Yeah, like anywhere you're taking an oath. So you could say the PD as well.
That's a fraternal order, yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely mentioned Freemasonry. Some conspiracy theorists eventually speculate that some of the founding fathers of the U.S., such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, who we mentioned, were having Masonic sacred geometric designs interwoven into American society, particularly in the Great Seal of the United States, the United States $1 bill, as you mentioned, the architecture of the National Mall landmarks and the streets and highways of the District of Columbia, as part of a master plan to create the first Masonic government as a model for the coming New World Order. Freemasons.
Banneker designed it.
Yeah, Benjamin Banneker, black man, wasn't he, from France?
I can't remember where he's from, but yep.
Yeah,
definitely
I think it was
here. He definitely designed it, and he definitely was.
Yeah, I think it was a black Frenchman. A Masonic lodge room. Freemasons rebuke the claims of a Masonic conspiracy. Freemasonry, which promotes rationalism, places no power in occult symbols themselves, and it is not part of its principles, to view the drawing of symbols, no matter how large, as an act of consolidating or controlling power. Furthermore, there is no published information establishing the Masonic membership of men responsible for the design of the Great Seal. While conspiracy theorists assert that there are elements of Masonic influence on the Great Seal of the U.S., and that these elements were intentionally or unintentionally used because the creators were familiar with the symbols, in fact, the all-seeing eye of providence and the unfinished pyramid were symbols used as much outside Masonic lodges as within them in the 18th century. Therefore, the designers were drawing from common esoteric symbols. The Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, appearing on the reverse side of the Great Seal since 1782 and the back of the $1 bill since 1935, translates to New Order of the Ages and alludes to the beginning of an era where the United States of America is an independent nation state. Conspiracy theorists often mistranslated as New World Order. Any comments on anything?
The tone of this information is that of a conspiracy towards a conspiracy theorist, and I don't trust his scholarship.
Yeah. I mean, if it's, if the information is controlled by the, they're going to put out there what they want out there.
And the whole tone of this is that it's, the conspiracy theorists are, they're doing that. That's the whole disinformation playbook.
Well, yeah, that term was created by the CIA.
Yeah. And how to respond to it is the playbook.
Right. Now, the Illuminati that Self Luv mentioned, Adam Weishaupt, founder of the Illuminati, an 18th century Bavarian liberal and secular secret society. The order was an Enlightenment age secret society founded by a university professor, Adam Weishaupt. He became a professor Self right after he graduated college.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense.
He was a child when he got to college. He was a child when he astounded all their minds, and they didn't let him go anywhere else.
Well, yeah, his parents died, and his rich uncle raised him, and there was a lot of esoteric books. His rich uncle was allegedly a collector of esoteric books, and so he was burying himself in that information. So yeah, he was wowing them with words, but a professor, bro, you just graduated, man. Sit down somewhere.
That's how much he wowed his so-called professors.
Yeah, and how much the Illuminati
His uncle paid for him to be set up.
Exactly.
One of the propped up people like I guess I don't want to say their names, but
Elon Musk.
Well,
Zuckerberg,
Gates, yes.
What's the Amazon guy's name? We always forget. Yeah,
Bezos. Is it Bezos?
Yeah.
You say Bezos on there? I don't know. He got a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, we can say Bezos. Now, the Order of the Illuminati was an Enlightenment Age secret society founded by University professor Adam Weishaupt. And look when it was started. May of 1776, that year.
Yeah.
In Upper Bavaria, Germany. The movement consisted of advocates of free thought, secularism, liberalism, republicanism, and gender equality, recruited from the German Masonic lodges who sought to teach rationalism through mystery schools. In 1785, the order was infiltrated, broken up, and suppressed by the government agents of Charles Theodore, Elector of Bavaria, in his preemptive campaign to neutralize the threat of secret societies, ever becoming hotbeds of conspiracies to overthrow the Bavarian monarchy and its state religion, which is Roman Catholicism. There is no evidence that the Bavarian Illuminati survived its suppression in 1785. In the late 18th century, reactionary conspiracy theorists such as Scottish physicist John Robison and French Jesuit priest Augustin Barreau began speculating that the Illuminati has survived their suppression and become the masterminds behind the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror. The Illuminati were accused of being subversives who were attempting to orchestrate a revolutionary wave secretly in Europe and the rest of the world to spread the most radical ideas and movements of the Enlightenment, anti-clericalism, anti-monarchism, and anti-patriarchalism, and to create a world nucracy and cult of reason. During the 19th century, fear of an Illuminati conspiracy was a real concern of the European ruling classes, and their oppressive reactions to this unfounded fear provoked in 1848 the very revolutions they sought to prevent. Got any comments so far? I know,
I thought you mentioned the Jesuits.
No, they were at the in the video. That's what I was referring to. What do they call that in the Middle Ages? When the white man came out of the cave and started the Renaissance. Yeah, that's all Illuminati.
Oh man, absolutely, and it's baffling because a lot of those Illuminati were swarthy. They weren't, they trained those people that came out of the cave.
Oh yeah. There's some information on that. There was that's why I said it goes back to before they're crediting Adam Weishaupt and these people for it. That supposedly in India they had, this going on and taught that to Weishaupt. Some theories on that. Now, during the interwar period of the 20th century, fascist propagandists such as British revisionist historian Nesta Helen Webster and American socialite Edith Starr Miller not only popularized the myth of an Illuminati conspiracy, but claimed that it was a subversive secret society which served the Jewish elites that supposedly propped up finance, capitalism, and Soviet communism in order to divide and conquer the world. American evangelist Gerald Burton Winrod
and other conspiracy theorists within the fundamentalist Christian movement in the U.S., which emerged in the 1910s as a backlash against the principles of Enlightenment, secular humanism, modernism, and liberalism, became the main channel of dissemination of Illuminati conspiracy theories in the U.S. Right-wing populists, such as members of the John Birch Society, subsequently began speculating that some collegiate fraternities, which you mentioned fraternities, but they said some, Skull and Bones, gentlemen's clubs like the Bohemian Club, and think tanks, Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission of the American upper class, are just front organizations of the Illuminati, which they accuse of plotting to create a new world order through a one world government. Got any banter on any of that?
Yeah, it's all like they planned it out from long ago and set different motherfucking tentacles to try to come together and get it together and rule it all. But it's all gonna crumble.
H. Moultrie said, "We the GOP," and he said, "BCA." I think that's Black Coons Anonymous. Go Herschel in Florida governor presidents. Definitely Black Coons Anonymous. Big ups, Coach. Big up. Now, there's another organization, Self. I hadn't heard of this one. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion is an anti-Semitic canard originally published in Russian in 1903, alleging a Judeo-Masonic conspiracy to achieve world domination. This text purports... I have to look for this text.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard of that. I haven't read it all, but definitely excerpts.
The text purports to be the minutes of the secret meetings of a cabal of Jewish masterminds, which has co-opted Freemasonry and is plotting to rule the world on behalf of all Jews because they believe themselves to be the chosen people of God. The protocols incorporate many of the core conspiracist themes outlined in the Robeson and Burial attacks on the Freemasons and overlay them with anti-Semitic allegations about anti-Tsarist movements in Russia. The protocols reflect themes similar to more general critiques of Enlightenment liberalism by conservative aristocrats who support monarchies and state religions. The interpretation intended by the publication of the protocols is that if one peels away the layers of Masonic conspiracy past the Illuminati, one finds a Latin Jewish core. Any comments?
Zionists, the difference between like a Jewish person and someone trying to blood-sucking, trying to take advantage of everything for themselves. And not even for the Jewish, just for the Zionists. The Protocols of Zion is a sect within the Jewish religion, whatever that is, because
well, I thought to be considered Zionist, that makes you a stationary Jew, but the true root of that religion was being a nomadic people.
my frame of reference from Zionists is from the Protocols of Zion, and that's that what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the Zionists, because the Protocols of Zion determine that. I mean, for me, I'm not, I don't know everything or show anything, but when I wrote about rhyming about Zionists and all that, it was based on the Protocols of Zion, that they set up this system that still Jewish, because it's not Hebrew is sort of like it, but way too extreme. That's not in alignment with the people.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because I heard my definition from the Nation. I believe it was Farrakhan, and then even, of course, this is just Wikipedia. A supporter of Zionism is a person who believes in the development and protection of a Jewish nation, which is now Israel. Because, I was taught that, true Jews were nomadic people. They're the chosen people of the world, and they weren't to have a nation, I think ever since Egypt, I'm not sure though, but that's what I had heard. But I'm gonna have to, I got to look more into it. So this is kind of new information to me. Coach said, Florida governor for president. I'm sure the Florida governor is gonna be a conservative.
Santos.
He doesn't like voting for black people unless they're conservatives. To each his own. All right, so let's see. We did Woodrow Wilson. This is where. Okay. Since the 19th century, many millennia. We did that. Okay. So we did the Illuminati. We're on the protocols of the Elders of Zion. Okay.
We talked about that too.
What, the protocols of the Elders of Zion?
Yeah.
During the interwar of the 20th century.
That's what I was, saying that, that it's an offshoot of it, and they even said it. Bill Cooper and William Cooper and I'm not gonna be able to go over there and grab it. I can't even think of the name of it. That's why I want to go over there and grab it, but it ain't over there. It's somewhere else. William Cooper, the dude that came out, ex-naval guy.
Mm-hmm.
Behold the Pale Horse, author.
Yeah, I got that book.
Yeah, he talks exclusively he not about that at that time. Not exclusively in the book, but because nobody was talking about it. But he really talks about the protocols of Zion.
Cover of a 1920 copy of the Jewish Peril, numerous polemicists such as Irish journalist Phillips Graves in 21 in the Times and British academic Norman Cohn in 67, book Warrant for Genocide, have proven the protocols to be a hoax and a clear case of plagiarism. Naturally, they'll say that. But there's general agreement that Russian-French writer and political activist Matvey Govinsky fabricated the text for Okhrana, which is the secret police of the Russian Empire, as a work of counter-revolutionary propaganda before 1905 Russian Revolution, by plagiarizing almost word for word in some passages from the dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu, a 19th century satire against Napoleon III of France, written by French political satirist and legitimist militant Maurice Joly. Responsible for feeding many anti-Semitic and anti-Masonic mass hysterias of the 20th century, the protocols have been influential in the development of some conspiracy theories, including some New World Order theories, and repeatedly appears in certain contemporary literature.
For example, the authors of 1982's controversial book, The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, concluded that the protocols were the most persuasive piece of evidence for the existence and activities of the Priory of Sion. They speculated that this secret society was working behind the scenes to establish a theocratic United States of Europe, politically and religiously unified through the imperial cult of a Merovingian great monarch, supposedly descended from a Jesus bloodline, who occupies both the throne of Europe and the Holy See. This Holy European Empire, which would become the hyperpower of the 21st century. Although the Priory of Sion itself has been exhaustively debunked by journalists and scholars as a hoax, some apocalyptic millenarian Christian eschatologists who believe the protocols is authentic became convinced that the Priory of Sion was a fulfillment of prophecies found in the book of Revelation, and further proof of an anti-Christian conspiracy of epic proportions, signaling the imminence of a new world order. So they come out and say it's all gibberish, nonsense.
Hogwash, BS.
Yeah.
Toilet filler. I don't know. Whatever you could think of. It's.
All right, I'm not going to go through all of this reading, but another group is the Round Table and the Council on Foreign Relations.
Oh, yeah, Council on Foreign Relations, yep.
Yeah. And then we got Alien Invasion, and that's your boy David Icke.
Yeah, he got a lot of the same information, though, like, before he went to that part. And William Cooper.
Yeah.
Same thing, same information.
Well, we have to cover it. Some people think that the aliens are, some think it's the Baphomet, some think these aliens are other dimensional, which, some think they're demonic.
Hey, some of these aliens are the Baphomet. How about that part?
So, since the late 70s, extraterrestrials from habitable planets or parallel dimensions such as grays and interterrestrials from hollow earth such as reptilians have been included in the New World Order conspiracy in more or less dominant roles, as in the theories put forward by American writers Stan Deyo, Milton William Cooper, and British writer David Icke.
Bill Cooper's right up in there with David Icke. Yep.
Yeah. British writer David Icke claims that shape-shifting aliens called reptilians control Earth. The common theme in these conspiracy theories is that aliens have been among us for decades, centuries, or millennia. Still, a government covered up by men in black has shielded public from knowledge of a secret alien invasion motivated by speciesism and imperialism. These aliens have been and are secretly manipulating developments and changes in human society to more efficiently control and exploit human beings. In some theories, alien infiltration have shape-shifted into human form and moved freely throughout our society, even to the point of taking control of command positions in governmental, corporate, and religious institutions, and are now in the final stages of their plan to overtake the world. A mythical covert government agency of the U.S., codenamed Majestic 12, is often imagined being the shadow government which collaborates with the alien occupation and permits alien abductions in exchange for assistance in the development and testing of military flying saucers at Area 51 in order for the United States Armed Forces to achieve full spectrum dominance. Majestic 12.
Yep, Majestic 12, Woodrow Wilson. Allegedly met with aliens and there was a treaty involved.
Well, I mean, this is not as far-fetched to me because I know what I saw. haven't seen an alien, but I know what I saw, what I believe to be an alien ship. So it's plausible.
You've seen more aliens than you know, because They Live was like a documentary. It was not like a sci-fi movie. It was some real business about that movie.
Yeah, he put it out there, not really to make money, and you can run it, and like I can run a video on this channel, and it won't get dinged. He just put it all out there. That's what makes it really interesting. He put it all out there in the public domain. And who does that?
Someone that knows something and wants to put it out there, and they're gonna call him a kook and all of that.
And I tell you, I always ask people, so I saw this in trivia. Name the main character in They Live.
They're gonna say Roddy Piper or whatever, the wrestling name.
Right, but I mean the character name.
Yeah, they're not gonna name the character because it's gonna be very hard. What you know it though.
Because they never said the main character's names. They never said anyone's name throughout the book, throughout the movie. And I had to go back and watch it.
Wow.
You never knew anyone's name.
Wow.
None of those characters had names.
Wow.
Right. That's why you can't think of the black guy's name, the white guy's name. Remember how they'd walk up on people? They was never like, this is Tori, this is such and such. Nobody had names. If they were talking about their daughter or their wife, they'd just say my daughter or my wife. That was interesting. Yeah. But in summary, alleged conspirators is what we were driving at. Many people seem to believe that the United States is ruled from behind the scenes by conspiratorial elite with secret desires by a small secretive group that wants to change the government system or put the country under control of a world government. In the past, the conspirators were usually said to be crypto communists. Now we got cryptocurrency. Crypto communists who were intent upon bringing the U.S. under a common world government with the Soviet Union, but the dissolution of the USSR in '91 undercut their theory. Damoff notes that most conspiracy theorists change their focus to United Nations as the likely controlling force in a new world order, an idea which is undermined by the powerlessness of the UN and the unwillingness of even moderates within the American establishment to give it anything but a limited role. Although skeptical of New World Order conspiracism, political scientist David Rothkopf argues in a 2008 book, Superclass, the Global Power Elite and the World They Are Making, that the world population of 6 billion people is governed by an elite group of 6,000 individuals. Until the late 20th century, governments of the great powers provided most of the superclass, accompanied by a few heads of international movements, such as the Pope of the Catholic Church and entrepreneurs like Rothschilds, Rockefellers. According to Rothkopf, in the early 21st century, economic clout, fueled by the explosive expansion of international trade, travel, and communication, rules the nation's state power has diminished shrinking politicians to minority power broker status. Leaders in international business, finance, and the defense industry not only dominate the superclass, but they also move freely into high positions, into their nation's governments, and back to private life, largely beyond the notice of elected legislators, including the U.S. Congress, which remain abysmally ignorant of affairs beyond their borders. He asserts that the superclass's disproportionate influence over national policy is constructive but always self-interested, and that across the world few object to corruption and oppressive governments, provided they can still do business within these countries. Any comments?
Looks like they setting it up so they can do whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Lining it up around the world, gaining these allies. And dang, finally, like allies. Lies is in the damn word.
Yeah, all lies.
Yeah. So yeah. It's a setup.
You mentioned something, I think, last week about even, maybe it was a show before that, but even when they do good, they're doing bad. They'll do their philanthropy, but it's for a self-serving reason, and there's something bad that's going to come out of it.
Right.
The ultimate goal is negative.
Yeah. It seems like they're trying to fulfill all of the negative means to bring an end to the earth, or not, well, maybe not the earth, of the system, so they can provide a new world order. So they want to try to cause the end, so they can be the solution into the new world order.
Problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
We'll beg them for the solution.
Yeah.
That they caused.
Not that.
Yeah.
They gotta go. They gotta go. They gotta go. They gotta go. Up out of here. Up out of here. Up out of here. Up out of here.
That'd be your gospel songs in your church, huh? So.
They gotta go.
So what about the 6 billion people at that time? And they said 6,000 are really running it. What percentage is that? That's not even 1%.
Right. It's the elite. It's less than 1%. It's the ones that control and pull the strings and all that. It's the ones that don't produce anything. They just have the money. They don't produce anything. They don't do anything.
You don't see them on TV. You don't see them.
You don't even know who they are.
Politics.
And they don't do anything.
And I guarantee you, they're richer than Bezos.
Yeah, way richer than any of the people that's on the list. These people don't even deal with money because they have all of it. They have a vast majority of all of it in existence is working through their banks. And 6,000 out of 6 billion. Yeah. They, ultimately, they're a problem to this planet, and they have to be identified and
Now, could they be the aliens or hybrids or something like that?
All of that.
And
regardless of what they are.
Yeah.
We all are to a certain degree, but they're evil branch. Because the way the world runs is not right. It's way more than enough for everybody to survive and thrive. And they're not allowing that part.
Right. They'd rather put their names on libraries, books that they've stolen, bought.
Not even their names, because we don't even know their names. These families that we want to blame and all that, they're not the families.
Yeah.
We don't know their names. They don't even care about that part. Well, they might. It might be some obscure or something here or there.
Yeah.
So maybe I should look into that so I can figure out.
Have you noticed the Queen of England? She's definitely one of them, though.
She's an underling, just like the facts. She's an underling, just like Bezos, just like the Rothschilds. Because the Rothschild name is more than the Queen of England, because that's straight hijacked.
She don't even have a name.
They was melanated people.
She don't have a last name.
They were melanated people, so.
Yeah. But I'm saying that the fact that she doesn't have a last name, she's definitely above Bezos and those guys.
Yeah, well, Bezos and them are, but I was just putting in order Bezos, her, and these, what we talking about, because we don't know their names.
Yeah, I think she's controlling all the underlings, though. Somebody's probably pulling her strings, but the House of Windsor is controlling all those underlings.
Perhaps. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. At least many of them. You know, that's why every U.S. president goes there and kneels before the Queen. You know, for one of the first things they do when they're elected.
Yeah, they control the government, but I don't think they control all of the. Well, never mind. We just have to, agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's controlling her bowels at this point. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, just that family, the fact that we don't even know their names, and they have so many resources, and
Good point.
Yeah, I just don't think that. Yeah, I just don't think that they ever disbanded it like they said. She's just a figurehead and all that. So, but all right. So, but viewing the history of the world as viewing the history of the world as a history of warfare between secret societies, conspiracy theorists go further than Rothkopf and the scholars who have studied the global power elite by claiming that established upper-class families with old money who founded and financed the Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Club, the Club of Rome Council on Foreign Relations, Rhodes Trust, Skull and Bones, the Trilateral Commission, and similar think tanks and private clubs are illuminated conspirators plotting to impose a new world order. The implementation of an authoritarian world government controlled by the United Nations and Global Central Bank, which maintains political power through the financialization of the economy, regulation and restriction of speech through the concentration of media ownership, mass surveillance, widespread use of state terrorism, and all-encompassing propaganda that creates a cult of personality around a puppet world leader and idealizes world government as the culmination of history's progress. That's the end of that.
Okay. I mean, it's all puppetry. Everybody that we know, I mean, in my humble opinion, and knowing about, my soul, they are all just puppets. There might be a puppet master that had regulates lower puppets, but they've set it up where you really have to dig to find out their names.
Yeah, that's why I said I think she's somebody's pulling her strings, but she's pulling the other one's strings. Somebody's got to be. It's like a corporate structure.
Or that family, because I don't think she's pulling nobody. I think she's retired from it. That's just my, somebody might be, some House of Windsor.
Yeah.
To what you're saying, I don't think she is. Just my based on nothing but my spirit, so could be wrong, but I'm usually right.
Yeah. All right. The New World Order unpacked. So current day groups, individuals. So we mentioned some today. As far as the individuals, we already covered a few of them who could be at the tops of this. Not the tip top, but
public.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the unknown hand.
The 6,000, yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. These people that we know are all puppets if they are playing their part in the game or play or whatever you want to make it, a movie, a TV, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, of course, we got the media, the major media magnates, and then they all got their front founders or CEOs, or if there wasn't the front person, then they get bought out.
Even if it is, they move on, and because they're trying to distract, so they can move on from it and make sure that it's really discredited from what they put out from these underlings. Because a lot of these underlings, they build these companies and leave them, and they leave them in shambles. Really, they still are successful monetarily, but the heart and soul of what they built is gone.
Yeah. All right. So then there's a term that supposedly they use about the everyday Joe, which is useless eaters.
Yeah. And breeders.
Facts. And the useless eaters, it basically implies that there are too many useless eaters consuming valuable resources that would be better used by a reduced world population.
Yeah.
Resources such as oxygen, water, food, traffic, pollution. They turn around and blame the everyday person for the pollution.
Yeah, they are don't have any. They have means to stop all the BS, but they blame the everyday person and say that they are the problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
And turn us against one another.
In a lot of ways, because every way imaginable.
Yeah.
Old, young.
Yeah. Male,
fat,
female, black, white, rich, poor.
Jab, unjab.
Yeah.
Conservative, unconservative, you know what I mean? Like, Democrat, Republican, everything and it's being exploited.
Capitalist, communist.
Yeah. It's a lot of BS in this situation.
But you better believe the 6,000, they all sit under one umbrella.
Oh. They're making all of this happen. They're sitting back chilling.
Well, in the ideology of Nazi Germany, which they learned a lot from the KKK here right in the United States, a person with serious medical problems, disabilities, seen as requiring help from society but giving nothing back, those are also useless eaters.
Man, okay, well, let's
talk about evil.
Let's start with so-called history of Nazi Germany, and I'm hearing it from the point of view of the people it happened to, quite literally, or I don't know. Yeah, they did what they were told to do, and that's why they did it. And they're all evil and all of that, except for the United States moved all those people here. Okay, my point was they started with, in Germany, in those camps, they started with the people who would be labeled mentally challenged,
handicapped.
Yeah, and then went to the melanated people before they went to the people that had most of the money, wasn't in control of nothing. I don't understand that part, but that.
Well, the first Reich before Hitler, they practiced all of that in Africa.
Oh.
And they eradicated an entire African nation
down to thousands of people, had them in concentration camps. They weren't gassing them because they hadn't had the technology. So, and that's been coming out more in history. I'm trying to think of the African nation's name.
Are you talking about the Congo with
No, it wasn't the it wasn't the Congo.
That dude was cutting limbs off.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the Congo. I'm talking about what the Germans was doing. He was from somewhere else.
Yeah, he was.
But the Germans was they literally was killing all of them, bro. You know, they wanted the land. What happened was the Germans were allowed to live in their land. You know how they come around. They're just going to farm and learn and all of this. But then they started taking the tribes people as their workers. And then they were beating and raping the women. And so the people rose up and attacked them. And they were done with it. But then the Germans brought a tyrant general. And he was slaughtering all of them. And this was before the third Reich, so this would have been the second Reich. And then so what they did was Hitler's team used that. Going back to what you said, that's why when you said they started with the melanated people, yes, they did. So then his team started with the melanated people and your handicapped and you're mentally handicapped, and then started, eradicating the Jewish people. So that was the point I wanted to make known. But they don't talk. We didn't learn about that in our history. And actually, Germany apologized. They labeled it a genocide in the 90s. The German prime minister went back to that African country and apologized for it, just like the Pope is apologizing for all those atrocities that took place in Canada.
Cut the crap, cut the check.
Yeah, there was an indigenous Canadian. He said you can't apologize for something like that.
No.
Said you can't apologize for something like that.
It's reparations before you could even imagine any type of apology. And it better be extensive.
Oh, and the nation is Namibia. Okay. Namibia. It's a very beautiful coastal African nation. And they were slaughtering all those people self. And then they were shooting them. And they had nowhere to go but in the desert. And they were in the desert just starving. And they went and shot up all them people in the desert. And then finally it got back to the German people, because I guess they hadn't controlled all the media yet. And the people, said, no, this is wrong, So they were supposedly going to stop doing all of that. But that's when they put them in camps and basically made those people slaves, man. And they got pictures because, there was cameras existed. And little kids sitting there, man, and people look just like me and you. It's sickening that we sit there in history class, and they don't talk about any of that. Damn critical race theory. Just teach the freaking history.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So we got to bring this whole thing down because they're not going to do that. We have to teach it.
Yep.
It's the only way, because they're not going to teach it. They're like, oh, that was mama or grandma or whatever they call they people, because some people, the people that's in a lot of the civil rights photos are still alive.
Yeah, but you're
all
right.
All pictures come out in black and white because they want you to think it's a long ass time ago.
Facts. That's facts. All right, so now, training, preparation for indoctrination. I was under the impression that they start the child at a young age. Normally they sever you from your loved ones, such as an Adam Weishaupt. Either they die or you become orphaned. And then they put you in a situation where you're being abused. They teach you how to torture animals so that you can lose your feelings. And so there's supposedly a training, that you can't find this information, for creating someone with the mindset that would allow you to sit amongst the top 6,000 or the bottom 6,000, however you want to look at it. But they start them at a young age. And that's why when you look at those people, you're like, man, ain't no love in them whatsoever.
You don't see no soul.
No, you don't.
There's a compartment of themselves where there ain't no soul at all. They don't even have no love at all. They are a complete robot.
Correct. And they know the science behind it too. You torture somebody long enough, and in a certain way, they get outside their body and they become something else.
Well, it creates a separate personality.
Right.
Because you know a little bit about it, because we pledged, and you could, at one point in time, you're out of body. You know what I mean? And
we were 18,
right,
19.
Right. These
imagine going through that and you're in theta.
Military children, a lot of them.
Yes.
They recognize that they are.
Well, Coach mentioned Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker said he was getting the crap beat out of him, and look at him. He says he's got all these different personalities. I read an article about him. The superhero, the this, and he should have added the coon. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's developed a lot of different profiles to help him deal with.
CTE too with him, because running through motherfuckers his whole life and all that.
Yeah, but he said he was getting bullied real bad.
Part of it.
Yeah.
They create separate personalities in these people.
Correct.
There be gaps in their life that they don't know about or whatever.
Correct. They have a break. Yep, it's a mental break. And then they break them mentally, just like you do a horse or something. And then they recreate them in an image that they want.
And be able to turn it on at the drop of a word.
Yeah. That word that they've been beating in them and taking their food away. Yeah, starving them.
And it's a trip, though, because there's some lesser, celebrity situations where you see that people get the word and they on live TV just break down.
You've seen that. Yeah. I saw Serena. I saw a few different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody say the word and they be like,
yeah.
Or they be like, or it'd be like,
yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. Very true. They got a lot of footage of different ones.
A whole lot of footage.
Yeah.
Be like, what the hell?
But all right, Self, what's the end game? What's their end game? I mean, all right, so if they've been doing this since Babylon, and why haven't they got it yet? And then
I've talked to you about it, and it's Project Looking Glass, and they look out and try to make things happen and see how it affects the future, and the future always comes the same.
Yeah, you have said that.
Yeah, so that's the problem with their whole situation. They're just trying to extenuate it all along, all they can, and it's all coming down to they got to get off this planet. It's done. The planet is evolving, going to a different dimension.
And I believe in a creator, bro. And just like there's evil entities, there's good entities that, only let them do so much. Like, I think they keep getting exposed here and there. And also they'll try something, Self, and society wasn't ready for it, and they'll get a reaction. Like, for instance, maybe this Donald Trump raid, and they'll get a reaction, and they'll be like, oh, maybe we need to try this in another 40 years or so. You know what I mean?
They don't have that much time. The timelines are all coming together. Like, everybody making decisions, and you make one and the other one, they all coming together because of all of the crap that they're putting forth to this machine. And they're trying CERN, they're trying all of it. They're trying to change the fact that they have to leave here.
When you say they, you're talking about the 6,000?
Yeah.
So their end game, and I think you said it earlier, is to have everybody under the control of the one.
Yep, and you don't own anything, and you love it.
And you don't really believe in a creator.
Man, they don't.
I'm saying that's how you would, not you, but
right.
That's what their ultimate goal. That the creator that you believe in is going to be the one.
Yeah, it's going to be, yes. Whatever they decide it is. Which is kind of on a micro scale what they do now. I mean, it's decided where you think your faith is and where you go and what you believe in the leader that you choose.
Well, give me an over-under on the potential truth to this conspiracy. So if I put it at 75% chances that this is true, are you taking the over or are you taking the under?
Much over. Over the over.
Yeah. Obviously, I would say all of it can't be true. I believe that the 6,000 are so diabolical that they are generating some conspiracy theories because they're all about confusion.
They are doing nothing. They have had in motion to cushion them from all of it. They're not making any decisions about it at this point. Spirit is telling me.
Well, if they're pulling the strings, they gotta be. If you're pulling the strings, you gotta be doing something.
Their systems are pulling the strings.
Correct. Well, if that's the case, part of the system is already creating conspiracies as well to add confusion.
Absolutely.
To the mix.
I'm right. That part is right. I was talking about the individuals. They don't contribute shit is my whole issue and problem with them. They could be influencing a whole lot, but they don't do shit. They let people die every day from starvation and all this other shit. It's why they're a problem and they have to go.
Well, all right. So, go ahead, keep going.
Control.
No, go ahead, keep going and wrap this up into your summary and conclusion. Go ahead, because we're at the end. So this is a good way to wrap it up.
My final words to many might be absurd.
This ain't Words Smith's final words.
Oh no. Okay, then no. They need to. Hey, we can't continue going in the same direction, doing the same shit, expecting a different result. That's insanity. And if you're tired of what you're seeing, then you got to make a change. The only way the system can change is if we change it. What change you got to make the system change?
Well, when you say they gotta go, and if they're an unseen hand and we don't know who they are, how's this gonna happen?
The systems in place have to fall down because they're not righteous or justice, and we all see that, except for the people that are in place to keep it in place. Like, there are a whole lot of politicians that need to go, and they need to get out, and they don't have to be by election. They just need to go from, their position. They'll say that.
Yeah, and people will get a little. They even said that, and I was reading about Adam Weishaupt, and that's what he realized. Of course, he got the information from elsewhere that people, even, communists deal with that. People deal with life in China. People deal with it as long as they get enough, which is how they keep these systems from being overthrown. As long as they feel like they're getting enough of the pie, even though it might just be a piece of a piece of a piece of a pie, of a slice of a pie. Yeah. Malcolm X talked about it. The middle class, pretty much. Those who aren't top 10%, top 30%, but
13% is all we need to proceed. Guaranteed. Change everything.
Yeah. But it's hard to see, bro. You know that. It's hard to see. It's hard to open the eyes.
It's getting easier every day, though, bro, because I see the decimation and the obvious way they are killing our society. And it's really on purpose to get to their goals. And, I know that we are creating sunglasses that can see through that BS every show.
Yeah, self-love vision. Big ups to YKL L. He out there in the chat. Well said, bro. And I say you guys do your research. We've listed some books here today. And then, to know is half the battle. And then we can, self-love's throwing out a solution. We need to figure out what the solutions are. Maybe you could be a spook that sat by the door and work your way all the way up. But you know how much compromising you would have to do? You know how much compromising you would have to do to work your way up close enough to maybe meet one of the 6,000. You know how many lives you'd have to be part of destroying?
No. We can figure out who they are. We just got to look the spirit. If we look within, and we all look within, we'll know who's them. We don't have to do the conventional route. That's the crap they taught us. That's not the real of how we can control our dimension.
All right. You heard it here. Yahusha said it too. Meditate. So you heard it right here from Self Love. And all right, y'all. So that's our conclusion of today's show. We thank you for your support. Also, we had a dome teaser. Self Love had put his response into the demo. I'm going to reread the teaser for you guys, and then we'll have Self Love give you the key. 2 in a corner, 1 in a room, 0 in a house, but 1 in a shelter. What am I? Self Love?
The letter R.
Facts. Big ups to Rakim. Big
the
ups.
18th letter. I was gonna say it's the name of an album, but
Yeah, I was gonna give you a hint if y'all didn't come up with it. Something similar to that vein. So, but great job, good brother. Once again, Self Love the Riddler, solve the riddle, and we'll get at you guys regarding our topic for next week here on the Self Love Show. We're always live Wednesday at 8 p.m. Chicago time. Also, check us out tomorrow on Mouthpiece Included. We're going to be breaking down. 1 second here. I'll tell you what we're breaking down right here in a second. We're going to be breaking down the Kyler clause. Kyler Murray, there was a controversial clause written in his contract that just leaked out, and he signed it. And we're also going to be covering MLB and the PEDs, solutions, and we got other hot topics for you here tomorrow on Mouthpiece Included, which is at 9 p.m. Central Time, and that's a live show as well. Link is always in the chat, so you can pull up, slide through. And if you do pull up and slide through, you better not fret.
forget your mouthpiece.
That's right. That's right. You better, bring your mouth. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. So we'd love to have y'all check in with us tomorrow. It's politics. It's not just a sports show. We slant it towards politics pretty much. Yeah, so enough of my yapping. We're going to turn this over to my brother to the right so he can jump into wordsmiths. Final words out there.
Man. Final words. The New World Order means us led to slaughter. We ought to realize that same old ways don't make them give us praise or even recognize that we exist. We have to insist to separate. Let them have their new world order and demonstrate we can have our own sovereignty. It's dedicated and summated in our situation. We just don't know our status. Call ourselves black, and that's why they at us. Cause they ain't white, and we ain't black. It's more brown of us than the pink. And the truth of the matter, they stink. Gotta look to include all of our allies, but damn, allies include lies. So they're gonna be some of them at work for the people that wanna hurt, put us in the dirt. Discernment has to work. Love, honor, respect at all times. They whole plan.
Words. Their motto is order out of chaos, so our motto is chaos out of order. It should naturally follow.
Destroy their evil.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know what that means. Y'all know what that means.
Bullets and
A miracle
boomerang.
happened last night. I awoke with a song in my heart. A song only God could have put there.
Yo, this song in my heart don't belong in the dark. Sing it out loud, praise the Lord, this is art. Thoughts I depart from the depths of...
My bad. That was the wrong joint. Y'all know what that means. My cat is...
Do you think you are the one?
Honestly, I don't know.
One of these old days. You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself.
Love thyself. Bullets and boomerangs.
Stay in your ground.
Murder and suicide.
Man, know thyself. I will eat the
Eye for an eye.
know myself. Cause the wrong way stole my health.
Silence is violence.
Me now and nobody else.
See something, say something.
Man, know thyself.
12.
I will eat the
12.
foods that I grow myself. Cause the wrong way
Slave theory.
I'm glad to be me now.
Greed. Add ego. Put it over some fear. Now you're a slave.
Folks again sicker, choking on their liver. Hope that I deliver. Plus all the ministers asking no attorneys. Spoke that unremitting tongue that baffled all the clergy. My soul was like a living drama, mastering the earthly. I wasn't in their lessons and they passes never heard me. I'm out of the curriculum.
Very wise man told me one time, don't answer questions, bro.
Marches with their fists up, vision nation battles, many arches with their wrists up. Lyrics
Wise
stick up,
man
over stick up.
told
I came to
me
elevate the world,
same.
would never give up. Mind forever focused, there's a time for
It was
every
question
everything.
everything.
They keep shouting so they notice. They say the student's ready, the teacher appears. Cause he was over.
Fear is an illusionary cap.
Absolutely. Vibrate love.
Forgiveness and charity. Yep. Those are the highest vibrations of love.
So, do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end a beef.
Healthy people. Go forward. Heal thy people.
Facts. You don't need to, because hurt people hurt people.
Hey, free the old man. Free Larry Hoover.
Free Chief Malik. Jeff Ford.
Free all the guys, man.
Man, prison is slavery.
Facts. Be like St. Pedro. Keep your eyes on Yahushua. And you too will be walking on H2O.
No doubt. Move mountains.
Move mountains? Are you serious, man? Have you seen the size of these mountains, bro?
All we need is the faith of a mustard seed.
That's not a lot of faith, bro.
No, when you see it got out of way.
Say go within, huh?
Yes, sir. Don't pretend. Go within.
Word.
I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know.